So I'm finally back with the band Threshold. I reviewed their two most latest albums a few months ago, being Legends of the Shire as well as Dividing Lines, which is the 10th and 11th studio album, I believe. I usually go backwards in the catalogue, but I've basically been kind of jumping around a bit. So I have listened to all the previous albums, getting to this one, which is album 8, but I just kind of wanted to talk about this one first, outside of the kind of like other two which sit in the middle. So with this album, Dead Reckoning, for those who don't know, it's the 8th studio album by the UK prog metal band Threshold. It is a first for them on the newest record label, Nuclear Blast, which gave them a more kind of heavy, kind of gritty, more modern, clean production than their previous albums had, which they actually went back and remastered to bring it up to the quality of this and what they do moving forward. Dead Reckoning is considered one of the fan favourite albums. It is also considered one of the heavy, if not heaviest, albums that they did. And so there's a lot of great history to this. Now, Threshold are known as the UK's biggest prog metal band, even though no one's really ever heard of them, which is awful. This band is criminally underrated and unknown. They should be a lot bigger than they are. As I stated, it's the first on this new record label, and it is the last album with lead vocalist Andrew McDermott. He left the band shortly after the release of this album and then tragically passed away in 2011 due to health concerns. He has apparently been struggling with many different levels of health concerns. He wound up in hospital, and then after 3 weeks in a coma, he did tragically pass. But with that, this is widely considered his greatest performance, and basically just stating, oh well, it's his greatest performance, or it's the best he kind of did. The performance on this is phenomenal. It's the reason I wanted to discuss it, because this album, considered one of their greatest, it is. There's no filler track on here. Every single track is phenomenal. To state what the weak track is, I can't. And I like to give, like, positives and negatives to make a fully rounded and grounded review instead of basically just being a shill for anyone, which a lot of album reviewers are on YouTube and just in general these days. They just shill for the band and don't give any type of criticism. But as I stated, this album, I can't find really anything. They really made quite a phenomenal album with this one. Now, Andrew's kind of an octave range. He spans over 3 octaves, which is quite significant. If you take the musical, what's it called? It's escaping me. The Phantom of the Opera. If you take that with all its range and everything, they're kind of just spanning around 2 to 3 octaves. Andrew exceeds this. He's close to like 3.3 octaves. So good vocal performance, and there is a lot of emotion that he delivers in this, a lot of range, a lot of skill, and diversity. He puts a lot of effort into this. You can honestly hear him really putting the effort in. He puts all his heart into this album. It is a phenomenal listen. If you're really into vocal delivery and performance and everything, and the emotion, the lyrics, the performance, this album has it in sheer spades. Furthermore, there is a lead guitarist, Carl Groom. He does quite a decent display of musicianship. He tends to play more for the melodies and everything. He doesn't just do sweep picking and speed just for sakes of it. He is a technical guitarist, don't get me wrong, but he understands where the music needs to come forward instead of just showing off. The music is the forefront, the song is the forefront, the emotional delivery and the storytelling is at the forefront, and he also plays into that with his playing. He basically does a lot of emotional kind of playing, alternate picking and everything. And then there's the founding member, which is the keyboardist. He does solos as well, sometimes kind of both dueling together, guitars and keys, sometimes keys then guitars. So you get a lot of musicianship throughout the album. Now you could basically try and argue that one of the downsides that some people have kind of said is that this is kind of mainstream. And by that I'm basically stating that if you take the prog band Dream Theater have massively expansive songs that last well over the 8-minute marks. Nothing really getting any shorter than that. There is a hell of a lot of technicality kind of going on. Threshold is kind of treading the line between a very easily accessible mainstream up to Dream Theater type level. They kind of bridge the gap instead of basically being so inaccessible, where some people will find that the songs are just way too long, they're way too complicated, and just want a nice, pleasant kind of listen and something a lot more kind of musical and pleasing. We'll get that from Threshold, but Threshold can also please the Dream Theater fans, as they also do lean into that at times. So basically, if you take the first two tracks, for instance, the song Slipstream, as well as This Is Your Life, you basically have shorter songs, around 4-5 minutes and stuff, which does follow the typical, songwriting pattern of your intro, your verse, your chorus, your verse, your bridge, and then solo end on your chorus, which is quite conventional and quite typical. But when you get to the third track, Elusive, this goes into 6 minutes, and then you start getting, the kind of like more layers and everything, as well as the album epic Pilot in the Sky of Dreams, which lasts near 10 minutes long. This is a very expansive song, and I would argue that Pilot in the Sky of Dreams starts rivaling some of the big epics that Maiden does, like the song Passchendaele. It is quite an incredible song, and an absolute masterpiece is that track. Now, stating, oh well, you need to get to Elusive, you need to get to Pilot in the Sky Dreams, to get all this prog stuff, you'd really go amiss with the greatness which is the shorter, more sweet mainstream songs. Because the entire album is beyond catchy. As I stated, the vocal delivery is absolutely phenomenal, and the choruses are absolutely catchy. Like, they're so memorable, they're so catchy. It's real heavy, this album, yet maintains every chorus, the most catchiest choruses there is. Every single track, the chorus is a standout. It's just like a 10 out of 10 masterclass chorus. It does the heaviness, the catchiness, the musicianship, the great vocal work. It makes you want to sing along. You really get enthralled in it. Every single track captures this. And yeah, the unfortunate thing you couldn't say is when they do come to solos, like in Slipstream and This Is Your Life, because they're playing to a shorter, more kind of like confined, space because of the time restraints of the song. The solos are on the kind of shorter side. I do like my solo, so I would like a bit more time delved into it. But it's not the point of Slipstream or This Is Your Life, or kind of like other songs in the shorter nature, like Hollow and everything, where, as I said, it's mainstream, it's something a lot more kind of accessible and pleasing. It still has the heaviness, it still has the solos, it has phenomenal vocal delivery, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's incredibly catchy. I said to write it off because it's not prog enough would just be absolutely insulting and, in my opinion, moronic, because you are completely passing by some incredible musicianship and songwriting. They're musicians at the end of the day, and the songs that they have made, while some are not overly proggy, the mainstream songs are masterclass. So I don't really overly care. The album still lasts quite a bit of time. You're looking at like 57 minutes if you include the bonus track. Take that off, again you're still kind of looking over the 50-minute mark, which isn't overly long for a prog metal album, but it is still a decent kind of length. I don't mind that. The first track and the third track actually has a guest vocalist who does screams, which is a first for Threshold. They don't do screams, and they've not done screams going forward after this album. I believe the guy who lends the screams basically was working on the album, like a mixer, engineer, or producer or something, and just decided just to kind of give some screams. They're not massive parts. It's not like he gets a whole verse or a whole bridge or something. It's just like a few words kind of like in the verse or the pre-chorus, and that's about it. So I don't mind it. It just gives a little added kind of aggression to the song, but it's really, really not overplayed at all. But just something to kind of give a bit of something extra, you can say. Now get into the epic, because you have to talk about it. Pilot in the Sky of Dreams, 9 minutes. Starts off really melodic, piano-based, and an incredibly emotional vocals that is being delivered. Now, Pilot in the Sky of Dreams, as well as every single track, is basically talking about flight, flying and everything, but it's like metaphors for everyday life. It's not all songs just about piloting, it is just used as metaphors. So with Pilot in the Sky of Dreams, the first section is basically flying high up into the sky, and the world's your oyster and everything. So you're flying high, open and in yourself, going into the world and basically taking what is given to you. The mid-section, you start getting your turbulence, red flashing lights and emergency as life kind of throws everything at you, and then the difficulties and everything of life, and then wanting to kind of come back down, return kind of back home to the safety and sanctuary, and then the end of the song basically kind of like acceptance of the world is kind of difficult, but you need to kind of like deal with it. So multiple different kind of sections. And musically, that is how it goes. As I said, the opening is piano driven and everything, with a really melodic, emotionally delivered vocals, and then you then build it into the next section. There's a plane flight kind of take-off sound effect that's played. Guitars and everything kind of come in, and everything with the riff and everything, and then we get still great vocal delivery and everything, and then they splice the kind of lead vocalist where he sings a section, and then it's like his gang kind of voice kind of like echoing what he says and everything. Absolutely incredible the way they do it. It just gives so much emphasis and catchiness there to it. Solos are technically spread throughout the song, like near the intro, then near the mid, and then in the bridge, and then at the end. So they're not full-fledged solos, they just basically split them and then scatter them throughout the whole of the song, being keys and guitars. And as I said, it goes upbeat, really catchy, and then it shifts styles again, getting a bit more kind of groove to it and everything. The third half of the song, I believe, is the best vocal delivery by Andrew. It is a phenomenal kind of delivery, puts like a lot of kind of tension into the kind of delivery and everything, like really trying to deliver that kind of like feeling and emotional, showing his range and his skill and abilities. Just insane. And then as it calms back down, it just starts kind of like going into a melodic guitar solo that then leads back into the piano with the vocal emotional delivery yet again. As I said, it really reminds me of Maiden, with Passchendaele, which starts really kind of soft with the guitars and then Bruce and everything, and then as it tells you about the years of Passchendaele, then it builds into it. Then we go on the journey and then the solos kind of break it up and there's different sections, and then at the end of the song, it ends on that melodic guitar and Bruce. Pilot and Sky Dreams follow suit. And when they did this song, they knew that they had a hit on their hands. They were actually going to call the album this until they went with Dead Reckoning. The song was also basically seen by Hollywood and was actually featured in an actual movie. I don't know what the name of the movie is, but it was featured in a movie. Because it was such a great song as well, they did a music video, but I understand the reasoning, but they did basically cut the song down to under 4 minutes. And seeing that it's a near 10-minute song, that's a lot of song removed. The reason for it is basically just because it was such a phenomenal song. They wanted to get it played on the radio and get the mainstream kind of appeal and everything to bring people in from the outside and then grow their fan base and everything. So I understand the reason, but I do kind of feel it's completely destroyed all the layers, the natural progression and flow, and just all the brilliance of this song. They completely wiped out my favourite vocal delivery section of Andrew as well, which I thought was horrific. Like, just terrible. Do not do that. I said that it's such a phenomenal album for Andrew that I won't take anything from it at all, as well as everything else. So as I stated, the mainstream kind of songs like Slipstream, That Is Your Life, and kind of Hello and everything kind of follow the solos in typical places. Elusive, you've got solos scattered all over the place, and then towards the end of the song we get longer songs like Fighting for Breath and Disappear, Safe to Fly, and 1 Degree Down. This is where we start leaning into more of a prog kind of side and everything. And again, nothing actually slows down. Fighting for Breath has a phenomenal kind of chorus, kind of like 70s kind of inspired and everything. Real groovy, great solo work, and vocal delivery that is so catchy and brilliant. Again with Disappear, a bit more kind of aggression kind of to it. Safe to Fly, bit more on the kind of mellow, kind of melodic side, but a really nice chorus nonetheless. Beautiful solos. And then 1 Degree Down, again, kind of a big, kind of more epic scope track. And then if you go with the deluxe version and get the bonus track, it's not actually a bonus track of the band, it is a cover of a Muse song, which is Black Hole something. It's a popular one by them. Again, it's just a cover of another band, but I do believe Threshold do it quite well. Just gives a bit extra, something a bit different to the end of the album. So I don't personally mind it. Sometimes when a band kind of does a cover or something kind of like that towards the end, I just completely write it off. It's like it's not the band, it's not genuine to them, and they didn't really write it or anything, so I kind of just like shrug it off. But I don't really mind it. I wouldn't, hold it in any of the class of the rest of this album. Like, I know it's Muse and one of their classics and probably reaches a far bigger audience than what Threshold has been able to do with any of these songs. But I think all the songs Threshold did are far superior. The solo on that last track, the cover, not really that exciting. I said it's catchy and it works well. Threshold kind of put their little style to it. But again, every song that Threshold made for Dead Reckoning is phenomenally catchy and brilliant, and the musicality, the solos, the vocal delivery is through the ceiling. And then Pilot in the Sky of Dreams is an epic. It's just a masterclass song. I don't know what else to really say about it, and just it is an absolute S-tier masterclass, epic, brilliant, perfection song. Just across the board. It's just that song is so beyond like incredible. Not to again state the rest of the songs are bad, they're all phenomenal, but Pilot in the Sky of Dreams, like seriously listen to that and jeez, you'll be impressed. But yeah, every track I would say listen to the whole album. Clearly, every single song is absolutely brilliant. All the choruses are amazing, all of the verses are amazing, all the vocals great, all the choruses great, all the solos brilliant. Would I like a bit more solos? Yeah, but hell, that's me. I always want more bloody solos. But it's an insane album, this. It is absolutely phenomenal. Like, honest to God, buy this album, actually give money to the band, buy their stuff, because this is criminal how small this band is. Like, all their CDs you have to basically buy pre-owned, because they don't actually do any new CDs. I can't find a t-shirt for the life of me. Even on their own website, they don't even have the merch store actually open. It's ridiculous. They're not really selling anything. It's appalling, because this band is phenomenal, and this album is an absolute beast of an album, which basically has come and gone like a fart in the wind, and nobody knows. Andrew put in such an insane performance, and something to be so proud of, and it's just like, it doesn't feel like justice to, as I said, what was achieved here for the band or him. So honestly, put money towards this, please. Like, it is incredible. Like, I can't really give anything negative to this. I said even if I want to put a score on it, it'd be kind of like 10 out of 10, because there's nothing bad. Everything is great. So yeah, go get it.